Assalamualaikum and good evening to Sir Ali Badrun bin Mokhtar and all of my friends. We are from Group 3 represent on the concept of riba and profit in Islamic finance.
I'm going to be the first presenter. My name is Nur Dayana binti Hamdan. My matric number is 275476. Introduction. Islam categorically prohibits its followers from dealings that involve riba. Yet, Muslims need financial services as much as anyone for many purposes. To finance new business ventures, to buy a house, to buy a car, to facilitate capital investment, to undertake trading activities, and to offer a safe place for savings. Profit plays a big role in ensuring the continuity of economic activities. This is because those who are involved in such activities always strive to improve their capabilities either in terms of production or management and so on in order to increase their profit turnover. Thus, it can be said that profit serves as the driving force behind the continuity of economic activity. Next, the concept of riba. The Arabic word riba means an increase in or addition to, but in practice, riba refers to the additional amount in excess of the principal that a lender charged a borrower. The riba system was practiced in the money lending and barter trade activities even in the pre-Islamic period. During this period, whenever a person borrows money from a lender, the borrower asks the lender to extend the period of payment, and in return, the borrower had to pay the lender a fixed amount of money in excess of the principal. At the time of the revelations of the Quran on riba, there existed many forms of riba. For example, when a person sold an item, the buyer would be made aware of the period of payment. When the buyer failed to make the repayment within this specific period, he was given more time to make the payment, but the lender charged the borrower an additional amount. And in the case of lending money, the lender asks the borrower to repay the principal together with an additional amount of money within a specific period of time. In general, riba is divided into two main categories. The riba that occurs in trading affairs is known as riba al-buyu, while the riba that occurs in matter pertaining to them is referred to as riba al-duyun. Riba al-buyu is the usury that arises in the contract or of trading of ribawi items and occurs in two circumstances. The first situation is the trading or exchange of two usurious items with differences in weight or quantity. The second situation is the trading or exchange of different ribawi items, but the exchange takes place in deferment. Thus, deferral is considered usury. As stated in the hadith narrated by Muslim, this deferred exchange conflict with the terms and conditions applied in the exchange of ribawi item. Riba al-duyun is the usury that occurs in the contract of debt and loans. This type of riba also arises under two circumstances. The first occurs when the additional rate or benefits is applied to the total amount of the principal loan. The second situation occurs when the additional rate or benefit exceeds the total amount of the basic loan imposed due to the borrower failure to pay the state loan repayment amount at the agreed time. There is a way the Islamic system can overcome riba. The Islamic economic system conducts economic activities involving the exchange and trading of goods and services based on real transactions. It is not based on usury, which is imaginary and creates an increase in money that does not originate from business activities. Furthermore, usury allows widespread use of credit-based trading, which facilitates excessive speculation and the flourishing of usually concentrated industry that will eventually decline. The Islamic system does not encourage customers to be in debt and to shoulder the excess debt. Thus, the Islamic banking system is not allowed to offer repayment facilities to those who lack the ability to make repayment. This is in line with economic risk management system that aim to prevent credit and subprime crises. The Islamic system does not permit guaranteed return or profit on investment. Although fixed returns seem less risky, in reality it burdens all parties, especially the vendor of the investment. Forbidding the practice of guaranteed return relieves the burden on the vendor and encourages sustainable economic growth founded on real transactions. Islam encourages mudarabah and musyarakah in investment. These concepts are characterized by unique, just, and fair controls in complete contrast to the prevailing system of usury and capitalism. Next, the concept of profit. Profit in Arabic is called al-ribh, derived from the basic word rabiha, which means increase in business activities. As a term of fiqh, profit can be defined as any increase in capital, ras al-mal, as a result of Islamic recognized investment activities such as business, industry, and other that alike, after all costs incurred in the effort to generate such profit. In addition, Islam acknowledges profit not only on capital, either in the form of money, product, as well as effort or services provided to obtain wages, ujrah. Thus, the profit that is a surplus of capital also includes the wage charge, because in the 19th century, employment involving services is growing rapidly. Accordingly, the capital understood not only involves the product but also includes the effort or land cultivated on it. This is as explained by economists who state the element of productivity involve land, capital, and effort. One of the characteristics of profit in Islamic finance is free from the element of riba. This riba can be categorized into two types, namely riba al-fad and riba al-nasiyah. Riba al-fad is any increase in one of the exchange items in a transaction involving ribawi goods, while riba al-nasiyah is the delay in handing over one of the goods exchanged in a transaction involving ribawi goods, or the addition required in the loan contract due to the deferment of payment. Next, clean from the element of gab, which comes from the tagrir. The meaning of gab in the imbalance of value between two exchangeable goods, which is not known by the party bearing the loss during the contract, while tagrir means fraud or giving a false impression of an item to be sold as to influence the buyer to buy the item in accordance with the price mentioned by the seller. For example, Ahmad says that the watch he sells is made in France, and the price sold is cheaper than elsewhere, while the watch is actually not made in France. Furthermore, clean from element of gharar. Gharar in terms of language means risk or reveal an unforeseen accident. Gharar is defined as something unknown about it or doubtful about whether or not something is sold. Therefore, buying and selling that contain ignorance about the price of goods is included in the sales and purchases of gharar. For example, the sales and purchases of cassava that is still in the land is also included in the sale and purchases of garam because there is no certainty about whether or not cassava is in the land, and even at the same time there is an element of ignorance about the rate or amount of cassava. Lastly, there is no element of ihtikar. In Arabic, ihtikar means to hold, collect and control something. In fiqh terms, it is defined as abstracting the goods that the people desperately need with the intention of raising the price of the goods, either by storing them somewhere or deliberately damaging them or refusing to sell the goods except at a high price. From that meaning, it is concluded that anyone who does something that can raise the price of goods that the public desperately needs is counted as mutakir, people who do ihtikar. Thus, all laws related to ihtikar apply to it. Ihtikar is forbidden in Islam because it brings harm to the people. In Islam, the public interest takes precedence over individual interests. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Nur Farhana binti Muhammad Yusof and my metric number is 275555. Next, we will proceed to the prohibition of riba. It is well acknowledged that there is a specifically forbidden interest or as known as riba in Islam. Any activities that involve riba are strictly prohibited in Islam as stated in Quran, which it is ordered by Allah. All the activities should in line with the Sharia principle. There are several prohibitions of riba that can relate in Islamic finance. The first one is element of unfairness in financing of production activities. This is where there is injustice to the debtor, where they have to pay the interest charge even the business no profit or loss. In addition, it also includes unfairness to the creditor, where if in the case the creditor gets a large profit, they will receive a return which is not balanced with the amount in generating profit. Second point is riba also have the element of exploitation in financing consumption. This element would probably burden the payer, which is the debtor, and only give benefit to the creditor. In this situation, the person able to generate more income without put much effort in a productive activity. That is why Islam prohibited riba in any transaction. If we look from the poor side, we can say that they need to exert more effort to repay their debt on the maturity date to avoid from charging them with higher interest as they cannot pay on time. Last point is, it is inconsistent with Islamic perspective in terms of debt. Before going to borrow some money or loan, the person has to calculate it first based on their financial situation and their capability to commit with it. This is very important to prevent them from prolonged overdue payment, which can burden them in the future with high interest. Then we move to the implication of riba in economy. Firstly, burden of debt. When the interest is in a higher rate, the savings will increase. The higher interest rates of the investment cost, this could affect the overall expenditure in the economy as well as making the goods and services become more expensive. The interest loan funds to be reserved for investment and share the profit or loss on a partnership basis. This also being practiced by Islamic financial institution. This type of investment will produce more business activities which it will contribute to economic growth. The gain or losses that shared by the investor and borrowers are more important, and this does not give an impact in investment growth, but it will increase the investment opportunities. Second point is interest exploited the poor and needy people. Usually, the wealthy people act as a creditor and poor people act as a debtor. This could raise the potential wealth for the creditor, but on the other side, which is the debtor's earnings are slightly decreased compared to the creditor. The debtor must work harder or even work overtime to satisfy the obligation of loan. The loan that they borrow from the creditor will charge the interest where they need to pay more than the value that they borrow. Moreover, the debtor will suffer a debt burden which they were from the middle class or a poor people. We can say that the wealthy people will become greedy and taking advantages from the needy people or poor people for their own benefits. Next point is this could reduce real investment, and investment is slightly decreased when the interest rate rise. Generally, for those people who invest in the country, they do not want to make any risk investment. They will keep their saving in the bank to secure their money. This is because the bank will make sure all the money that belongs to their customer, they will keep it properly in terms of the security. People also tends to deposit their money in the bank due to the high interest rate compared to spend their money for goods. From this, we can generate more income. Last but not least, for implication, the business cycle decrease. The price of the product rises due to the interest. The quantity will slightly decrease in terms of consumers purchasing. This will give an effect in terms of sales of the producers. This will bring negative impacts for who runs the business. So the production cost will increase due to the interest charge. If the production cost increase, the demand from the customer will slightly decrease in terms of the interest that will charge for the customer, and automatically the price of the product will increase. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will continue the presentation. My name is Nashasha Nabila binti Suhaidi, matric number 2C4800. I will continue on current issue of riba and profit in Islamic finance. First is payment over the amount of principal. Principal is the amount that we agree to repay. Interest is the cost of the borrowing the principal. Any payment of automatic loan basically will be charged with fees such as late fee payment. Then, your other payment will be used for your 3 loan balance. To make payment which is interest are added on your principal. These are not following Sharia compliant concept. This is because payment are made more than the principal amount. Usually, this concept are applied at conventional bank. Islamic bank cannot use the concept because it was forbidden. Islamic bank are free from the interest. Second issue is making money from money. Islam sees money as medium of exchange, as it has been a way to determine the value of things. However, there are some people who are take advantage on this. There are some institutions that raise more money through fixed interest payment, although you just put the money in the bank or use the money to give a loan. This is not correct because with the money they make more profit. The next issue is investment practice or support product that forbidden in Islam. Investment should only support something that is halal categorical. Investment should not be made for prohibited or forbidden product in Islam, but there are some institutions that use prohibited product to raise the investment. There are some investment that comes from trading alcohol, company that sell drug, from casino and other more. The money supply for investment cannot be used for something prohibited and cannot come from haram source also. All the things in life must be free from prohibited. That Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala has been said in Al-Quran. That is why when you want to involve in investment, check the resource well, so that you are not involved with something that forbidden in Islam. Last issues is the riba in PTPTN. We know that PTPTN is the statutory body responsible for managing the educational finance of students of public or private institution in Malaysia. The loan is good, but because the aim is to help student in Malaysia. However, PTPTN is a preconditional loan. It have made the loan are haram because there are some riba are happen in the transaction that are strictly prohibited in Islam. Next is the challenge of riba and profit in Islamic finance. First challenge is most people choose bank that have riba because application is Islamic bank is rejected. There are some people who are applying home finance, car loan or Islamic credit card have been rejected by the Islamic bank. This because the reason why more people choose to go to the conventional bank. The real reason Islamic bank reject the application because their financial capability are not eligible for large debts. However, there are still some people who are stubborn and apply it on conventional bank. We know people nowadays need money to live. However, they need to know their place. This will be a trap for themselves because they will face difficulty to repay the loan. Therefore, to make sure your application are not rejected, please take care on your financial carefully. Second challenge is bank that have usury are more easy to deal. We know that in Malaysia we can see many conventional bank. They have many branch, many facilities, more advanced facilities and more technology and others. In life, there is no one who willingly to be in difficulty. That's why they will choose the easiest way to settle down their problem. Last challenge is because of the difference in theory and practice. The credibility level of Islamic financial system require a gap concept between Sharia scholar and a modern financial expert. They are having different thought in some topic. It will because a huge problem because of a different thought. The conclusion, riba are very bad in life. Riba not only prohibited in state but also in religion. Riba was included as a 7 great sin. So Muslims should stay away from riba, from usury. If the riba are practiced, not only yourself are affected but also the economy, the country and so on. Therefore, take right decision according to the Sharia. So that you will gain a blessing from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. That's all from me. Thank you.